All right, so you have the bracers of defense. It came at a steep cost, but you took a little bit more of an edge off by trading in your lantern. You have some healing potions, even if only as a backup for someone else and not yourself. Um, and we have a reserved moment in time to go back with lethality for Selene.
Mm.
Now, the next point of order here, and some of this is I want to do this with you all, uh, and especially if we're doing this in prep for Christmas and New Year vacation from the game, essentially, because I will not be able to run, like, even if like 3 of the 4 of you, like, I will not be able to run the game on those days. Um, we we need to go and discover a little bit more about Loki, because you were
Mm.
wondering about his abilities.
Yes.
And so what we can do, like, I don't want the entire rest of the session being this, but if we're doing prep and we're setting up, that means that you are ready when we come back in January to hit the ground
Awesome.
running. You have equipment, you have, for Bright, you got some spell scrolls, and I know that requires time. I mean, we could presumably give you time enough to, write
she's
them
only
all
gonna
in.
need a day
Yeah.
to deal with that stuff.
You're not against a hard time limit where a day is you're sweating.
I mean, we're gonna be traveling somewhere. It's gonna
Yeah.
take a day. It's not
Yeah.
gonna...
So speaking in mechanical terms to you as DM to player, Loki still is going to show that he can do warlocky stuff like cast Eldritch Blast. So he still does have remnants of this power.
It's like it's guarded.
Because Norlai, I mean, you never knew your brother to necessarily be magical.
No. He was just roguey.
So he is going to be, at least in part, warlock. However, we have a bit of a special case with him, where if you as a party want him to, I guess, unlock into a multi-class, if you want to split him between warlock and rogue, or you want to go warlock, rogue, fighter, or something along those lines, I wanted to run this past you because Loki, if you recall from the the cave, he was referred to as the Master of Three. And that's presumably because he has been under the effects of all 3 pacts. The Fey Pact, the Great Old One, and the
Fiend.
Yeah, the Fiend. Now, he is a Great Old One warlock. Like, mechanically speaking, that is there. However, because he's been exposed to so much influence, he's mutable. He has a past of being a more physical character, such that rogue or fighter could work. Maybe he's come into something of an appreciation of animals, and you want to throw in a little bit of ranger. Or you want him maybe because he's come back, and this is, he is, in a sense, making vows to protect you all and to come along with you. If you want him to even be, a lock-it-in, I think people call him, or something like that. If you want him to split, or if you just want a straight up level 18 Great Old One warlock, that's absolutely fine as well.
I like War Pal.
A War Pal?
War Pal.
So I am fine with this. This is my prompt to you all. There's I want all of your considerations. Now, if there's a tie in something, ultimately this is an NPC that's attached to Norlai, so Dark Wolf would get like the deciding, 51 to 49 sort of vote. But is there something in particular that you want him to have or do for the party? In the party?
I think if I were to put an opinion on it, is to kind of keep it simple, where what he does is fairly focused. If he's going to be like a DMPC that, kind of follows us around, then yeah, kind of keeping his combat maneuvers simple so that we don't have to micromanage
Yeah.
would be ideal. But if he's going to be an NPC that kind of stays behind, that's more of a, do what you want kind of a thing. If he's going to be a DMPC where he's following us around in combat, then keeping his loadout simple
Well,
would be
I think that's great logic, and I'm gonna actually put that back on you all. Do you want him to be support, like how DJ is supporting Selter? Like DJ's a support character in many regards. If you want Loki, I mean, it's not like he can't go with you on the battlefield, but he would be more of a, I mean, he would just offer you support, or you'd put the bandolier of healing potions, so he's the one that comes up and, puts a potion down your throat if you're knocked out. Or if you want him, if you think you're like, we could really use a frontliner, and you want him to be a frontliner, I will DMPC him. Well, yeah, I mean, in a sense, like I will build him, and I will have his character sheet open, and I will DMPC him as a frontliner. But this is you getting to support the party in a way that, with a couple considerations that, what do you want? What's a spot that you want to have filled?
An interesting concept that I heard on TikTok the other day was the combat medic rogue.
Okay.
Where basically you take the healer kit feat, you don't have to have any magic of any kind, and the it's essentially a concept around building around using your bonus action to use a healer kit on a downed party member, and then using your action actually to like drag them out of harm's way or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, for me, I think the important thing is keeping the decision-making load low, because I know as a DM, it really sucks when you have to run like
so many different things. Yeah.
Well, it's not just so many different things, but like two things that are complicated and opposed to each other, because you have like it's hard to really get your mind into the space where you're really thinking on behalf of both sides at once. So
do we want? So that begs the question: do we want one of us to pilot him then?
I would be
in
down to
combat.
pilot him.
Yeah, that's
pilot
fair.
him in combat. Yeah.
I would be okay with that, and then he can be whatever you want him to be. Because really, Loki should be Norali's character.
Kind of custom NPC / second character / whatever.
Because he's so intricately linked. So
obviously, Maddie will still play his voice, but in combat, Darkwolf can
I
pilot
push
him.
buttons.
In combat, Darkwolf can push the buttons.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that then. In that case, you can do it anyway. I don't think we really need like the combat medic rogue because.
No, we don't.
Because we do have two clerics.
We do have two clerics, one of which is more healy than the other.
Yeah.
And now we have two characters with backup potions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some.
I can move fast.
So we have plenty of healing. I don't think we need a
I don't think we need another of that.
But if he is going to be a rogue, he can always do those things.
Rogue is also pretty complex when you start factoring in like sneak attack.
Yeah, you just kind of pick it, use it.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of picturing him. I was kind of picturing him being long distance like Norlai is, Especially because Norlai won't want him going up in front lining.
Yeah.
Because she just got him back.
Yeah, rogues are great with crossbows.
Great with
Be completely
crossbows.
Have to
And
take crossbow expert.
yeah, crossbow expert actually allows you if you have just a hand crossbow, then you can use your bonus action also to fire it the third time.
Yeah.
So there's definitely builds around rogues and crossbows.
We can probably make it. We can probably do something like Arcane Trickster to kind of keep that magic element with him, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's gonna have Warlock no matter what. You can go either all Warlock, or I'm allowing him to be a multi-class because he's been broken and reformed in so many ways, so many times that he is allowed to break the request that I put on you all that you are one thing.
So the concept I kind of see forming a little bit is, since he spent most of his life early in his life doing the very trickstery kind of stuff, he doesn't have the magic element. So I'm thinking he's either a thief or an assassin, rogue, or any other kind of subclass.
Thieves is more thematic, but I don't really care.
But then Warlock is what he has become on top of that. So the Warlock would be the lower levels out of all of those. But, like you said, he's kind of goo right now.
Because great old one.
Because there's that, yes.
He's been gooified.
So, both would have light armor proficiency. Both would have simple weapons. And all of that kind of stuff, so.
So you want him to be a Warlock Rogue?
A roguelock.
Roguelock?
An unlock.
Like primarily rogue, or are we talking about primarily Warlock? Because it could go either way, conceptually.
He needs to be at least a level 3 Warlock.
Mm.
I wish I had my player's handbooks.
And I don't believe I've ever really defined the type, like what his pact was. So if you prefer him to...
Wasn't it Tome?
Huh?
Wasn't it Tome when you made him originally?
Yeah, it might have been Tome. Like, I was thinking Tome, but I was also... I don't think it's... You've encountered him a couple times, but he's never really...
Yeah.
The pact...
I just remember for the concept art.
Blade, though, as well.
Maybe. I just remember the concept art I drew when you had made him. He had it booked.
Oh, yeah. Then that might be a Tome lock then. All right.
Well,
so I guess take that into consideration. I'm sorry. What?
I was just gonna say we've never seen any evidence of a familiar, so chain doesn't really make sense. But any of the others would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to swap him, if you want to keep him, bookish, or if you want to make him go blade, I'm fine either way.
Blade could work.
Blade could work because that just makes it so he has a pact weapon.
Yeah.
And that's the weapon he uses with his sneak attack or whatever.
Does that work for you, Norlai?
I mean, it's really up to her. Just something else that would work.
I'm not familiar with warlocks really. Would a pact weapon be bow and arrow?
Yeah.
Could be, yeah.
Then yeah, probably.
I think with hex blades it can. I think with blade locks it has to be melee.
I don't think so.
I thought there was a condition or something in there where... Because there's a difference between a hex blade and
And a blade lock.
And a blade lock,
I mean,
yeah.
Well, hex blades get all kinds of extra cool stuff, but I don't. There's no restriction.
I mean, double check. That's off the top
that's what
of
I'm
my.
checking.
Yeah, I'm checking that.
Now, if he is tome, he can cast rituals, and you can, if you want him to know certain rituals, then we can put him in his book for y'all. That could take some of the.
I think they start getting a little complex as far as like.
Rituals is good support stuff, you know. It's detect
That's
magic.
fair.
It's a lot of other things that he
But we
can
also
help
have
with
bright,
downtime.
and we have the clerics that also know rituals as well. So.
Ah, here we go. There's a bonus. So by default, it does have to be melee, but then it's not a hexblade perk. It's something else.
It's an invocation.
Yeah, improved pack weapon, and that lets you use bows.
So if he takes that as one of his invocations, improved pack weapon. Eldritch Blast can also has a range of like what 100 feet. That's also from range.
120.
So he doesn't necessarily need a bow, especially, well, if he's only like a level 3 warlock, then he'd only have the one bolt.
I don't know if Eldritch Blast would stack with Sneak Attack. Because it's a spell.
Yeah, no, Eldritch Blast doesn't stack with Sneak Attack.
No, it doesn't. Weapon attacks would, but
yeah.
So long as you've hidden, yeah.
Improved packed weapon is in Xanathar's, and it also lets you use your weapon as your spell focus. It also gives you +1. It makes it a +1 magic weapon if it isn't.
I don't see any blade lock not taking that for no reason.
Well, I can see it. I mean, if you're a melee and you already have a magic weapon, then all you're getting from it is the focus, and that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So
options.
So maybe if we focus a little less on rogue, a little more on warlock.
Okay.
And just give him enough rogue to like having uncanny dodge or something. So he's along with Norlai staying back. Yeah, staying back and avoiding getting hit and being DPS.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it. So like a 50-50 split or a 15-3 split?
Let's see. Uncanny dodge.
I think
Uncanny dodge is 5th. So like
okay.
5 levels rogue and the rest
5 and 13?
Yeah, 5, 13.
Okay. With a packed blade? An improved pack weapon? Or are we talking about tome?
Probably tome.
Okay. So ritual caster?
Okay, yeah, he'd get some cantrips from any spells cantrip list. He gets the Book of Shadows, which could have interesting roleplay mechanics.
Okay, I found a sage advice. It turns out that if you bond with an existing weapon, it can be any weapon at all. It's only if you use Pact of the Blade to create a weapon out of nothing that it has to be melee. So, how about that?
That's fun. You can only magic up a melee weapon, but if you take a bow... Live character building, y'all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Riveting.
But this is also story building. Like, not only is it going to support Chroma Company, because you're building an ally, but there could be, depending on what his abilities end up being, it won't just be mechanical stuff on the battlefield.
Why don't we do level 7 levels in Rogue so he gets evasion?
Okay. 7 Rogue and 11 Warlock.
Probably the rest of his level ups will be Warlock as well.
Yeah. Seven Rogue, 11 Warlock.
7-11.
Yep.
And did you want him to be a rogue first or a warlock first? Because either way would be fine. It just depends on what you want to multi-class into, what your benefits are.
Yeah, rogue first thematically seems appropriate because he met Sho'neuroth on the road.
Okay. And what kind of rogue do you want to make him?
I think Thief is thematically appropriate, but Assassin could also work.
Thief or well, I don't know. Norlai was he kind of a killer in that regard, or I mean, maybe a strike first doesn't always mean a kill.
He wasn't really an assassin, no.
If he's more of a manipulator, you could probably go mastermind. That would be I think that's the one that he can use his bonus action to give the aid effect to an ally within 30 feet. Or that, or it's Scout.
No, it's Mastermind. But I think Scout and Inquisitive would actually both really well. Because, I mean, he doesn't really strike me as the Mastermind type. No offense, but he's always been the second fiddle in everything he's ever done. So, Mastermind doesn't really seem thematic, but Inquisitive and Scout both do.
Inquisitive kind of thematically looks like it's more of the I'm the wallflower, but I'm watching everything.
Sorry, I have to look these up because I don't have any of my books.
Yeah,
nearby.
they're both in Xanathars.
Yeah.
And Scout is kind of pitched as being like a ranger-ish, but there are also urban rangers, and I think that would be a good flavor for it. Basically get some extra proficiencies and movement bonuses.
Ooh. I like Inquisitive.
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of the I'm standing over here, but I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm watching what you're doing.
Well, at 3rd level, you get Insightful Fighting, which is bonus action. You can do an insight check on a creature, and it will let you use sneak attack even if you don't have advantage.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's not very good really because you usually do get the sneak attack anyway. But if you're a standoff, you might be firing at who knows, right? Mm-hmm. So kind of depends.
Well, not many of us.
Not many of us are actually granting advantage, so.
Yeah.
There's always a front line. It's just a question of who's in it.
Right. Yeah. So in order to get advantage on a shot to get the sneak attack, you would either need to be implementing flanking rules or be hidden.
Well, sneak attack, you also get it if a party member is within 5 feet of them.
Yeah, you just have to have someone adjacent. You don't have to use the flanking rules for that.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've played many rounds. So if you're in a distance and you can get sneak attack even though they know plainly where you are. But if no one's near them, you're shooting.
We don't have the kind of tanks that would be like right up in people's faces.
Yeah.
So granting him advantage in that case would be really hard.
Yeah, it also give him a little more like protection kind of mindset because he's shooting at advantage, but when they get close to you, he he's also shooting at advantage without the bonus. Without the bonus action.
Okay, so you want inquisitive?
Inquisitive, yep.
And what type of gulag did you want to make him?
Think we
Tome,
decided
right?
on tome. You could do Pact of the Blade, but
Yeah, turned out all those rules about melee turned out not to really matter, because he could have found a +1 something.
Oh,
Easy.
let's see.
It's kind of fun. It's almost like a workshop.
yeah.
We've been short on those lately.
I believe this could be something that could be role played into as well, but I believe the amulet pact was in Tasha's, and there could be some interesting lore around something like that.
I don't have my Tasha's. Well, Tasha.
Back to the talisman?
Yeah. Or yeah, talisman, not amulet.
I haven't actually looked through Tasha's very much at all.
I haven't looked at Tasha's.
I've skimmed it.
It's not in my app, so I don't know.
And so if you go with the current split, you had 11 levels of Warlock that you'd be adding on to him.
Yeah.
Hey, you get to add a D4 to all your rolls. And, but you can only, okay, well, you get to add a D4 to your rolls sometime. And,
Like ability checks, like a guidance kind of thing?
kinda, yeah. But you can only,
I think sticking with Blade is fine.
That's up to you.
Mm.
Just keeping in mind we do have several ritual casters among us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do Blade. We can get him a magical bow or something.
Okay.
Does that also mean he has multi-attack? Like he attack twice on his action?
If he takes the invocation, that lets a second attack.
Is that for rogue or for warlock?
Warlock. A blade lock. It's a blade lock invocation.
No, I'm talking about rogue.
Rogues don't get a second attack at 5.
yeah.
Don't
Rogues
they?
don't get 2 attacks. No, they get sneak attack instead.
Yeah.
That's part of why Crossbow Master is so good, because then you get
Because then you
extra
get
attack.
multi-attack, yeah.
Then
we're looking for
what kind of a background? Now, we can say something, he comes from an urchin background, or you can argue criminal background. However, he's been through a lot, and just like I allowed for your characters when you reformed yourselves, emerging from Oiho, a lot has changed since you've been out on an adventure, and that could affect the skills or the talents or other things that you know, that helped shape you very literally back into reality. So if there's a particular background you have in mind, now there's like 11 billion backgrounds that are like even officially published ones. So if you can think of something flavorful, I mean, it'll be what it is. I want him to be a flavorful character. Like, he's been alluded to and hinted at the entire campaign pretty much. So it's not like we're looking at this as just pure mechanics. So, you know, it'll offer something mechanical, could be good and fun. You know, don't get caught up on it being super heavy roleplay or super heavy mechanics. Because at the end of the day, it would just be maybe a modification to maybe a tool that he has, or if he plays an instrument, or a skill that he has proficiency in, something like that. Like, Haunted One could be an interesting background for him, because, well...
And thematic, even.
Yeah. Is that another Tasha's one?
No, that's in,
Curse of
Is
Strahd.
that Skag? No, Curse of Strahd, yeah.
Oh, I don't have Strahd. That's why.
Monster Hunter, I think, is one too. Maybe out of the same.
Monster Hunter is out of one of the haunted ones.
But not this one.
Not
today.
Like what haunts you selections.
Okay.
Like there's a personality trait that like you get rid of monsters because that's the thing that's happening in the world right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just pull up a character sheet and start filling things out.
I want to get more done with you here. Like this is just the concept, and we'll block in the details later. But while we're training, like this is you actually like on the deck of the ship. You're talking, you're fighting, you're having them test out different skills to evaluate what it is. So this is also we're workshopping, but we're also role playing because you are fighting, you're engaging in things, and unlocking his his muscle memory or his actual.
Unlocking his potential.
Yeah. One more question as well. For him being a warlock, I've opened it up to you all that if you ever wanted to be an int warlock, you can run int warlock instead of charisma. And of course, Coffee, you're running a charisma cleric.
I am.
Do you want Loki to be an int lock or a challock?
I think charisma was already kind of his thing.
Okay,
like
that's fine.
Like he talks his way out of
a
situations.
Talker, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So charisma lock seems appropriate thematically.
That works.
Oh, there's new spells in Tasha's. I didn't even...
There are some new spells, yeah.
Who knew? Not me.
Well, if a background comes up, we have a good chunk here. So far, we have a level 7 Inquisitive Rogue, a level 11 Gooblade Warlock, and we'll give him a background. Was there something that you needed to lock in for a feat? Did you want Crossbow Expert as a feat for one of the? He's gonna get 3 ASIs. He'll get 1 in Rogue. Oh no, actually, you might get 2 in Rogue. Do Rogues get 1 at level 6 also, or is that just fighters?
No, that's just fighters.
Okay, so 1 from Rogue and 2 from Warlock.
Rogues do get an extra ASI though.
It might be at 10.
Somewhere, I don't remember where it was.
Fighters get 2 and Rogues get 1, I think.
Yeah, the extra one is at 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll be something to think about, and then invocations are something to think about to give him as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at invocations right now.
Now, because he has been touched by the 3 different pacts, I am okay if there's something on the Fae or the Fiend spell list that he takes as a Warlock spell. As I think that's very appropriate. And I've gotten more than a pound of flesh out of Loki that he's paid the cost for these extra considerations. So things to think about in that regard as you're testing his knowledge, his spells, his you're measuring his power level. I suppose if it would take some role playing, but if you want him to study, I mean, Norlai, you're like, professor, have you ever taught anyone? If you wanted him to
prove it,
to
prove you can teach people,
be taught by the professor, you could. I don't know what redundancy any of those the main 3 would have with a Hexblade not expanded spells or whatever, but the spells available there. But if you wanted him to study under Cypher, then you could probably splash a spell from that list onto his if you wanted to as well. But like all things like spell research, Mordecai, it would just take time to
do.
Time to do. Time to interface and learn.
Time to commune with your nature deity.
Mm-hmm. So in the short term, we can say his powers are reawakening. You may not have a full scope of his physicality or his magical aptitude.
We have an
but
idea.
He'll do stuff like he'll run sprints on the deck. He'll try climbing up the masts. He'll try pew pewing spells and testing the power of this or that. As each of you in your own magical that's been an ongoing theme in here too as well. What is magic? How does it work? How do all of us cast magic, but we all do it differently?
Yeah.
However, well, it takes a village, or in this case, it takes a party to raise a magic user, and between you all, you can answer pieces of the puzzle. Like this is kind of what it feels like to cast this kind of a spell, or if you want to amplify something, then this is how I do it, and maybe you can work through it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get a more fully congealed Loki for when we come back after Christmas and New Year here. But you are going to spend some time training on the deck with him. Bright, if you're like, I'll let you all handle that. I got some spells to copy. That's fine too. He's happy to he'll run around. He still wants to help. Anything else, I guess, directly related to this about Loki that you want to discuss in abbreviated out of character terms?
I just I thought of the invocations he would take, which would be Thirsting Blade, Repelling Blast, Life Drinker, Eldritch Spear, and Agonizing Blast.
Oh, okay. You're making him a blasty boy. All right.
Blasty boy. A little bit. Like the blast to keep people away, and then if they get to party members, he'd start using the bow.
Yeah, in fact, he did have that as an invocation because he blasted Bright away. One of you found him in the warehouse, and he... no, was you, Norlai? He blasted you away, yeah. Yeah, he Eldritch blasted you to repel you away so that he could get out of there.
But I blasted him away, too.
That is true.
There was some mutual blasting going on.
Yeah, so anyway, you started blasting. So yes, that is certainly a carryover. He has his pew pews leveled up with those invocations. So
pew pew.
All right, so time will be spent doing this. The Kazimir has left, and the Repentless is, well, it's up in the sky and going in a direction. Where did you want Selter to take you? You returned her stuff. You have her cooperation. I know that there were some discussions last session about going to the monastery, about going to Uct, about going to Oldport. You have a
whole
map.
Region ahead of us.
I guess I could go more broadly here, and then if we need to zoom in on Mesomasca, we certainly can. But right now, you are here.
We're kind of...
The question is, who are we going for first? Are we going for Merkuri, or are we going for the Sky Shatter Leviathan?
That's the question, isn't it? We won't get Kazimir's help with the Leviathan if we don't do...
Yeah, I think we have to do Merkuri first. And I think that would be a better decision anyway.
So yeah, I think finding Merkuri is first, and finding some place where her influence has started.
Yeah, the thing about Merkuri is she seems to be the most active of all the violent
patrons.
forces we have.
Yeah.
Because Sho'neuroth, I mean, yeah, obviously Sho'neuroth is the big problem, but we're also supposed to do him last anyway. That's not metagaming, that's totally in character. Because we need everyone's help for Sho'neuroth, and we have to get everyone together, so we have to do him last.
Yeah.
But also, like, the Leviathan is a slow, like, it's not really doing anything, it's just kind of an obstacle. So, whereas Mercury's very active in the world, even more than Sho'neuroth. You never know what she's gonna do next.
She also has a five-headed dragon waifu with her for some reason.
Yeah, so the question is, where do we find a fire fiend else, aside from the volcano where she exploded and probably wouldn't return to because that's the scene of a crime?
Well, fire...
Well, actually, she might return there because it's a scene of a crime.
Yeah, they always return to the scene of the crime, that's what they say.
Fire is not inaccurate, but it is also less accurate than something else.
Oh, lightning.
Yeah.
Okay. So the thought would be to find out where she's kind of set up base, which is like one of those power towers.
Yeah.
Because connection to Oiho and draining Oiho energy.
Yeah, I mean, we could always take a quick jaunt back to Oiho and see if she has like an orange area. But she might not be based there anymore. Maybe she's in some whole other place.
Well,
probably because Kazimir said that if she was there, he would know, especially if she was being active.
That doesn't mean she can't be hiding in the tower, but not crossing over, though.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So we could check the towers.
Yeah, but that's one of those, how do we get there?
Big flying ship that we're currently standing in.
So the big flying ship doesn't make portals. Doesn't allow for extraplanar travel.
That is true.
Well, no, just getting to the towers themselves.
Yeah.
Well, just
Because
like
if we go to a tower and it's being struck by lightning, she's probably there.
well, then I suppose the next step would be to find out where she's put a new tower or where she has an old one, like Oldport.
Hey, I could always try scrying on her.
That's thought.
You could try.
It doesn't cost much. Actually,
Oh, did anyone grab that silver bit that Kazimir dropped?
I imagine one of us did.
Yeah, that actually kind of escaped my mind.
I'll take it. I'll end up taking it.
All right,
It's fine.
you have some dried out wing membrane from Kazimir.
Gross.
Well, we can use it to scry on him. It's a body part.
It is a body part.
Hang on to that in case we need to look for him. See, this is why I like a spell focus and not components, because you're piling up dragon wing scales and all this stuff. Just one thing after another.
Just
Okay.
a big old satchel where all of it's stored.
For me, it's not a component pouch. It would be more like a component rucksack.
Yep.
Okay, well, Loki, would you be willing to help with my scrying?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I gotta. By the way, thank you very much for the follows, everyone. But I got the follow notification right when you asked Loki to do something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask Loki if he could help me with my scrying.
Yeah, of course I can. How do I do that?
That's awfully helpful of you. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is cast Mage Armor.
Sound a feasting horn.
I know that's not related. but it's kind of a use it or lose it situation. Okay, now we've taken care of that. The second thing is I need you to just think a lot about Merkuri, like everything you can think of about her. And like what it's like to be pacted to her and all those things.
Okay.
And then let me cast this spell on you where I can see what you're thinking. Which is detect. And hopefully that will give me enough of a bonus to take the at least to take the familiar bonus to scrying.
I mean, we've seen her several times too, so...
Yeah, I would have first-hand knowledge, because I've definitely met her. But I get a bonus of 5 if I can boost that up to...
Alright, so you get him thinking about Miss Merkuri, and you cast Detect Thoughts. The first thing you see that comes to his mind, you're getting not a complete picture of her, but there's at least there's a little bit to go on. By the way, chat, you out there in Twitch land, it you can't see our chat, and that's for your own protection.
Oh. Yeah, that's not the part that matters to me.
Oh, you might want to ask him to expand his selection then, because...
Well, I told him like what it's like how the pact works and what it's. I'm trying to get like a magical connection to make the spell work better. So I'm thinking about like what the pact is like and how that power flows and all that.
Okay.
I know what she looks like in person. I don't need pictures. I need magical connection.
Well, you're more steeped in the arcane. He's more steeped in the physical. You're gonna have to find a middle ground here. All right. So, he's concentrating, and you're getting a fire that laughs, and it crackles as it does, both with some of the snaps and pops that fire has, but there's also just an underlying zap of lightning and a distant menace rumble of thunder, as this image of a fiery woman is conjured in his mind, and the flames themselves are like the direction of energy, where it's sort of like drawn in and being a conduit from her and then emitted off of her. And that's the best way he can... Look, you didn't make him an int lock. I gave you the chance, so like he's trying to imagine it as best he can here. But that's the kind of picture that you're getting, is that she's this kind of like fiery, flowy conduit. So he's doing his best, but that's what you're getting beyond the initial physical impression of imagine what she looks like.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it works. Now it's time for the scry. It's gonna take 10 minutes, so if you guys have stuff to talk about, feel free.
Well, I don't really have much more to talk about unless you all do.
While Bright is detecting thoughts, I will also think about Merkuri,
Okay.
seeing as I spent a little while in a hamster wheel, in a hamster ball,
Oh,
because of her.
yeah. I mean, I'll take a. I can move the target of the detect thoughts, so I would definitely be happy to absorb any knowledge you may have. I didn't realize you had contact with her. I thought you were just kind of disembodied.
No, I was there the whole time.
Okay, well then.
Yeah.
Well then, let's give it a shot. I'd find out what it's like to be disembodied in a completely different way than the one that I'm already familiar.
Norlite, how
I'm
does
not
Merkuri
familiar with being
appear in your
disembodied.
mind?
So it would appear kind of like a bad memory, just like fuzzy, like your brain doesn't want to remember it, but there's certain bits of it that are sharper than others. But there would be you would hear Merkuri saying things in a almost sickeningly sweet tone, but the words that she says, you just the there's basically vile under it, vile intent with her words, but it sounds sweet, but you know it's not.
Okay.
But you would kind of get some of what how she talks. You would get some of how she thinks based on the thing she had said.
Okay.
Bright, with this, make an investigation as you are piecing together. Like, Norlai's actually feeding you more than just imagery. Like, you're actually getting snippets of conversation and things along those lines.
13. I'm gonna roll that again with my lucky.
Oh, all right.
24. That was lucky, all right.
24 is absolutely greater than 13. With the memories that Noralai is feeding you through your spell, you are, you as Noralai are contained in this bottle. I mean, you saw the container, of course, but it's putting you in there. But you're seeing Merkuri back in a very matronly style. Because when you first met her, dressed as a school marm, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And she's returned to that. And
She seemed so nice. It was all a sham.
And this is, you're getting that you're getting this as Bright, even the same feeling that's being conveyed to you, because it's that kind of, what you're doing is important, just a little bit longer. I need you to stay in the bottle a little bit longer. And through the memories, you're sorting out that Merkuri was just as baffled, but intrigued to the point of experimenting on Noralai like the Fae were, as she presented some kind of interesting quality that she was after. I mean, the Fae tried to crystallize her and turn her into one of them, and it didn't work, and that's about as far as it went. But Merkuri was using her as a lab experiment, though one that was kind of... It was very much like grooming or gaslighting Noralai. Like, it was, or like giving her sort of a Stockholm syndrome of, they're there, dear, like, I'll give you these things you want, but you have to work more, we're almost there, we're almost at a breakthrough. As all of this hellish energy was being run through Noralai, through this contraption. That was, so she was maybe some sort of a filter or a shift in the energy. And this is mixing in with thoughts of Loki and through him to an extent. You get 24. At the end of the imagery, your takeaway is that Merkuri was trying to, if not weaponize Noralai herself, because she recognizes Noralai as a weapon, but she wanted to try and harness this energy, whether it was filtered or distilled or something through her, to make an anti-Sho'neuroth weapon. Everything was using Noralai as a filter, a catalyst, or something to develop a super weapon that would destroy Sho'neuroth. And, I mean, she just kept bottling up Noralai, and even to an extent, Bright, Merkuri cared for Noralai. Obviously, she was using her for a very selfish end, but it wasn't overtly callous. Like it wasn't like, oh, can I have water? I'm literally dying of thirst. Well, no, Merkuri would give her water in a metaphorical sense. So she wasn't cruel directly, but she was super manipulative. And was trying to use poor sweet Noralai here to create, like a lightning bomb or something that would destroy Sho'neuroth. And she would be the catalyst for it. Yeah, there you go. And by the way, you've experienced long periods of time in a short period of time. This went on for a long period of time. Long, quote unquote. But yes.
Okay, how about that? Alright. Well, I can't explain it to everybody else, but at least you heard it out of character.
You heard it out of character if Bright ever does want to explain it. Otherwise, yeah, Bright, extremely manipulative, selfish, and wanted to create a super weapon. So.
Yeah, okay. Well, when you just distill it like that, it seems like a pretty ordinary villain. Okay, well, alright, now it's time for the script.
But the supervillain has the same goals as the party. Ooh. Who's the villain now? Her, but I can still ask that question.
Her, because she doesn't want to save the world, she wants to conquer it.
Sure, after destroying Sho'neuroth. But you gotta do that first.
Sure. She's apparently going to also try and manipulate Kazimir into helping her. So, by dangling his wife's heads above his head.
What's up with that, huh? What could she be using Tam for?
Something similar. We'll find out.
Okay, so let's see how the scry resolves.
Yep.
Maybe we just had a really nice character moment, but maybe the scry will actually work for a change. We'll see.
The spell goes off, and, well, it does not. There is no target to find.
Okay. So she's not, well, it was fun anyway. Not effective.
Yeah, we got to bond over immense tragedy and the weaponization of essentially,
trauma.
You have trauma bond.
Trauma
Okay,
bond.
Woof.
That was the backup name for Chroma Company.
Yikes. I mean, you're not wrong, but yikes.
Okay, so she's not on his plane.
She's not detectable.
She's not detectable.
Not detectable. She could be in an anti-magic zone or Or she could have non-detection on her. There's a few things. Let's stop it.
Yeah. There's a
With
number of
invulnerability.
things.
There's a few things. But, yeah. So, we're gonna have to find her some other way.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah. Do you know where the other towers are? Besides the one in Oldport?
There's one in Mask of Horns.
Mask
one
of
in
Horns. We could check the other cities of Mesomasca.
Yeah. What's the one down on the southern tip? We never have been there.
That's...
Southward?
Mask of Storms.
Mask of Storms.
Oh.
Mask of Faces is the capital.
Yeah. Well, we wouldn't have to get too close, just close enough to see if there's a tower.
Thunder Tower, yeah.
You know, just cruise on by.
Yeah,
On our
maybe
way to
something would
Oldport.
be willing to give us the scenic tour.
Okay, so you want to instruct the Repentless to go past the southern tip of Mesomasca?
No, we're
Yeah.
gonna ask her nicely.
But basically, yeah, we wanna
But
fly
yeah.
by, see if there's a lightning tower, and then if there's not, maybe we can check out the other cities and see if there's a lightning tower there. Because the only one we know about is the one in Mask of Horns, and that's a fire tower.
Okay. They the course is set, and it'll take a little. It'll take less than a day, but a waking day. So long as nothing happens, you have a good long stretch of hours before you reach the southern tip of Mesomasca. During this time, is there anything in particular you want to do?
Bright is gonna fuss over her spell book and change her level 2
Okay.
spell. Her
No
level 2
problem.
cantrip.
Mordecai is probably just spending time just seeing if he can strike up a conversation with Zuviwa about the possibility of bringing someone back to life. Not that he's very researched in necromancy, and probably doing some conversations with Selene as to what necromancy is versus actually bringing someone back to life, kind of thing. Kind of just trying to get an understanding of what the implications are.
Yeah. Okay. Now
He'll even cast commune if that's.
I was going to ask, you can always in roleplay do this, but if you wanted to back it up by using mechanics, you are certainly welcome to do so.
He's gonna ritual cast commune to do that.
Okay.
So that's gonna take 10 minutes. 11 minutes.
11 minutes, quite literally the magic number.
I don't see... Yeah, I just have some incense and holy water to spend, so...
Okay.
And... So I just spent the holy water.
What are your up to 3 questions that you would like to ask?
He would kind of start off the conversation saying that you allowed Selene to be brought back. And from my understanding, Ouijas takes the souls of those who are forgotten and probably long dead to consume them. Because if they don't exist in the lives of others, then they're of no use to the world. Do souls linger? Because I've seen ghosts. Is that common? Or is that a fluke of how the world is right now?
The ship continues to plot its course. You're not going to get there until after sunset, even here in the height of summer. And...
cold summer.
Yeah. A voice does not carry on the wind. A newspaper doesn't slap you in the face in a rainstorm. Though something does call out, and this must be proof that at least you're getting close to the shores of Mesomasca, because it's a seabird. It's one that's one of the more common ones that are a bit fascinating, because it almost appears like they're made of glass. They are transparent and out of character for any of you as players. I don't know if you remember them being described as
at the Mask of Flowers. Yep.
Yeah. However, there's a lone glass bird that is sort of riding on the winds and calling out. And that might be your reply.
So if a soul doesn't go to Ouijas, because she's staked claim over the domain of death, if they don't go to her, is it possible, or is it offensive to try and bring someone back who isn't forgotten?
I'm making notes here that I'll type just to make sure that there's if we need a reference back to this.
Not like necromancy or anything, where the body is puppeted by a magician, but someone were to come back to life like Selene, but not require that much energy, be normal for all intents and purposes.
In your ritual casting state, looking out, you're casting your voice to the wind, looking for signs, trying to listen for them. You're not snapped out of it. It doesn't interrupt the spell or anything, but there's a there's some footsteps that you're made aware of, along with the voice of Professor Cypher. And he's must be talking to someone. Maybe it's an ascending or something. He's saying, when your attention is caught over to him, he does say, "I don't know." And then he stops and looks at, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mordecai. I didn't see you there. Pardon, I was out getting a bit of a walk-in. Is there anything I can do for you while I'm out?"
No, just kind of taking in the air, I guess. Just kind of figuring some things out.
You and me both. I don't think a lot of people respect just how draining it is to try and contemplate these things and to come up with answers that are suitable for even a lot of people, let alone everyone.
Imagine the kinds of questions you get every day from as if you were a deity.
Oh. Yeah, well, I can only imagine. But you know what? It's things that a deity or not must be prepared to answer. As an educator, as someone who, is there looking out after people, who wants to build them up, build them better. You have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to be thoughtful. I thought I was, and while I have nowhere near any sort of a deific following, I don't know if I ever want to be. But it's tough enough trying to answer my own questions. Because I could go and answer them my own way, and I'd tell you, the way that I would solve a problem, I'm sure that Bright, another educated person, well adept in magic, she may think that that's immoral, Professor, or there's other ways to do it, Professor Cypher. When, to me, it was the clear and direct route to take.
I mean, yeah. That sounds like something I would say. It also sounds like something you would do. It turns out that the most direct route is not always the bestest route. Sometimes you can do things a little more gently. Get better results in the end.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna continue my my little walkie-thinky, as I call them.
Walkie-thinky. Try not to hurt yourself too much.
If I do, I know who to call, Mordecai.
Oh, that's valid.
He walks
That's
off.
my job.
And after the brief exchange, leaves you back to your contemplations. Do you have a third question you'd like to cast into existence?
Are there others like you? Are you one of many, or do you even know? I don't think of Weejass as a god anymore.
Boy, I'm trying to be creative with the answers here, for fun. Nice role play, and I know we're at our hard limits. I'll give you an answer here before we cut off, and then we'll end with you approaching the southernmost city. Okay. The question hangs in the air a moment and blows away with all the rest of the air and wind that the Repentless cuts through on its way to Mask of Storms. And with the sun setting and the temperatures getting cooler at night, the Repentless begins to enter a fog bank. Or, I mean, what's fog but a low-hanging cloud? So you can say a cloud or a fog bank, but it becomes obscured. And each of you who are outside are, even with someone else close to you, you cannot see them. It's as if you alone exist in this cloud, in this fog bank. You're more than certain that there are others, but there's no way that you can if you're working with Loki may be right there, but the cloud is so thick you can't see him. You'd have to reach out, try and touch him. But if you reach in the wrong direction, he's going to be in no other direction than the one he's in, and you're just blindly groping. Same Mordecai with Selene, or Norlai if you're out there and you're hanging out next to Bright or Loki as well. And throughout this descent, we'll say it's through a cloud. Throughout this descent through the cloud here, as the Repentless is looking to zoom past in the twilight to look at the tower, you all are holden alone in a dying light. And then the moment passes, the cloud lifts away as you're descending, and scant light returns, though of course for those of you with dark vision that's not a terrible, everything just kind of goes black and white, in the total darkness. But then you can see, oh well, here we are. Oh, I thought you were on the other side, or something along those lines. But therein, past that is the Mask of Storms. You can see in the horizon. You're not directly over it. But there is no great beacon that flashes up to shine a spotlight on the clouds. Neither is there any sort of thunderous cauldron, shooting up from or down to their tower. Their tower, like the one that you had seen in the prior city, is dim. It looks like from this distance like a little fireplace with just the barest hint of ashes glowing.
Huh. Okay. So, if there's no signs of activity from Merkuri, then we might be moving on. Probably fly by the capital, but that might get us shut down. Who knows?
We're disguised. It's fine.
You're a little off the map here, but you can see it in the twilight distance. If you wish to change course, then of course the capital is going to be along the eastern side. If you're already at the base of the mountains, if you follow that up, there's a fort here. There's a casino resort here. The monastery's way up here. We have the capital, and we have a big city here on the east. Or no, I'm sorry. The capital is. This is. I think I mixed up my symbol. Anyway, we'll refer to the map, but yes, you can.
Yeah, this was the capital.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's like major city, big city. I didn't put a key on here, so shame on me for that. But yeah.
I think the next step would be to kind of fly between them and see if either one of them, or anywhere along the mountains, there's another tower.
Yeah.
Kind of just sweep the whole island in a way.
I mean, if we fly over, though, we might get into trouble. We're not real popular. Well, we're okay, but not in.
Well, the Repentless looks like an Imperator class airship.
It will get attention, but it won't be seen as a giant flying monster that'll.
It won't be seen as hostile. Yeah.
Yeah, but aren't we still? Like, Silter never likes to get in too close.
Well.
Don't let me interfere if it's gonna work.
Oh, but it's so much. It makes the game so much more fun if you do.
We can cross that bridge if we come to it, but
okay. Sure, why not?
Kind of go past the fort, the casino, and between the cities, and kind of.
Also, there's a little lightning bolt icon here on the map.
That's
the fort.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the fort.
I wonder if the lightning is a hint of something. Let's go to the fort.
Yeah, kind of skirt along the edge of the mountains toward the fort, toward the casino, and then kind of go between the cities to kind of get an idea, see if there's either one of them has a tower from a distance.
Sure.
Or a big pillar of lightning.
Where we will leave off for this session, and then therefore Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and come back after that, with the last beams of the sun in a deep twilight setting, shining off the almost mirror reflection of the armor that Cypher has been able to manifest on the hull of the Repentless. The gleaming Imperator-class Shadowhar ship of the line makes a slow turn, and leaving Mask of Storms behind, approaches the central ridgeline of the mountains that split the island on its tour, on a lookout here. And you will be on your way here at night to pass by these locations and see what you can see on your search for Merkuri and or Tam. So with that, thank you all very much. I will make sure to contact Lethality as well and get that list of items so Selene is kitted up for when it's time to throw down. And if there's anything else that you think of, let me know, and we'll work through it from there.
Once Selene has, once Selene's equipment is worked out, we'll work on getting stuff from them.
Yeah, we'll get your brother all statted out too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do, everyone, is I actually need to run down to the store and get a few things here before it's too late. So as much as I do want to run a little workshop afterwards, I am going to take us into a raid. And of course, as players, you can contact me through Discord if you need anything. But if you all want to continue a D&D adventure, we are going to go over to Lawful Stupid RPG, who is going through their missed opportunities. It's I think a brand with their a crew that they run with, and they're playing through Ghosts of Saltmarsh. So let's all go on a raid and say hi and give our Matty Morg's best to them from our ship to theirs. Make sure everything goes in. All right. So be well, and when I return, everyone, I will be at the store painting, and I have a 6-inch prize goblin that I am going to be painting up on Strim. And I hope you all will join me for it. So be well, and I'll see you over in Lawful Stupid's channel. Bye.